Alright guys, my name's Rabea.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Sounds Like on Andertons TV. So who are we sounding like?
Today on this fine episode of Sounds Like on Andertons TV, we will be trying to sound like the band The Arctic Monkeys.
Sub-Zero Primates.
There we go, he did it.
I did it, I got it in there. Pioneer of the new social media way to do things with the whole MySpace eruption.
Exactly. Yeah, down their first tracks were I think for free on their MySpace.
So kudos for them for taking that forward.
Well done, well done.
I missed the boat with Arctic Monkeys, I must admit, but because I was just all about trying to shred around that time.
I was on the boat.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. When the first stuff came out, it was all, I lived in Manchester and it was all over the clubs.
Oh, nice.
Well, anyway, yeah.
We got to stick to £1,500 budget, and obviously there's two guitarists. I'll be doing Alex Turner.
And I'll be doing the man himself, Jamie Cook, who is the rhythm guitarist.
Yeah, and so we got to get two rigs, £1,500 per rig. And I think there are definitely some obvious choices, which is what we're going to essentially try to do and play some of the sort of more famous tunes. So let's do it.
Do it.
So we ventured far out from where we just were
In there.
and we're going to choose guitars. Well, I'm going to choose a guitar.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Should we do like both at the same time?
Let's do both at the same time. Let's go. Alex Turner is most famous for using, I guess, or at least I remember him using, a Olympic white Strat. So that's what I'm going to try and find. See, that would be perfect because that's £776. But it's £776.
Is that an American?
Yeah, but it's also got the 70s headstock, which isn't really legit. There's no Strats around here.
So we're looking for a white Strat.
Olympic white, maple neck.
With a maple neck. 460.
I hope.
There's a maple board as well.
So this is 460. This is a Mexican. Yeah, this is a Mexican Strat in Olympic white. Arctic white, actually, I think. But that pretty much looks right, does it not?
That's bang on. 460 quid.
Bang on.
Bang on.
Bang in.
Okay, so we're doing Jamie Cook of Arctic Monkeys. He has used Tellys, I think in the early days, and now SGs, I think. But basically, most famously, he seems to go to a like Gibson ES semi-hollow. That's from Casino.
That's the 339.
Well, there's nothing in brown, so should we just go for it? They're all humbuckers, they're all like semi-hollows going on. So £335. It doesn't really matter, does it?
Right, this one.
That's a dot. How much is it?
Lemon drop style.
So this is an Epiphone dot, and it's $329.
Nice.
Humbuckers, semi-hollow.
And has it got the Alnico pickups in it that they do?
It does indeed. So yeah, I reckon we should be able to get close with this.
Sweet. Matt, what amp are you going to get?
I am not sure what amp I'm going to get. So Jamie Cook, he uses high watts. We don't do high watts here at Andertons, so I'm going to have to try and find something a little bit similar.
Yeah.
I want something a bit warmer.
And his tone, it's obviously it's different per song.
Yeah.
But from some of the stuff that we were listening to earlier, it goes between that kind of pristine, clean, slightly thin, clean tone, and then obviously he's got his more bitey, kind of slightly crunchy, with a bit of trem, like affected tone, isn't he?
Yeah, and also like in the newer stuff, it's kind of a thicker, especially in like the kind of Suck It and See era. It was a bit more Queensy.
Why not a Hot Rod Deluxe? Because it's mid-priced, all tube, got reverb,
Yeah.
It's got a clean and a dirty channel.
Well, we don't really need
Takes pedals really well.
We don't even need the dirty really. 671 quid, and I've only spent 300 odd on a guitar.
So 970, well, roughly
So
1,000
I'm
so
going
far.
at £1,000
Yeah.
for a couple of pedals.
So we're doing Alex Turner's amp now
Yeah.
that we've sorted Matt with the guitar and amp. And to be honest, from what I've read and what I've seen, AC30 is what
It's his
seems to
thing.
be the thing. So I guess for us, it's either AC15 or AC30.
AC.
They got a 15 with an Alnico Blue, which is going to sound good because the speaker's really good in it. They've got
We've got a 30 here, 30 valve reactor.
Well, that would be the solid state version with the
so I
tube
think
pre.
it goes someone
And then you've got a standard, that's a 15 with a greenback. So do we want, they're very different speakers. Greenback's really bright and really twangy. It's a bit less.
What pedals are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking MXR micro amp, thinking possibly a POG. Needs some sort of echo, because he uses a Dan Electro tape echo thing. So some echo, need a reverb, so Holy Grail.
What are you going for gain?
Probably the micro amp, and possibly the Tube Screamer 808, because he does use that as well. So it's kind of...
He seems to use a lot for...
minimal sounds.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those guys who seems to use a pedal and it's for a very specific thing.
Yeah.
So
we'll just have to suck it and see. AC15 with the Alnico Blue in it.
Which is
so
695.
Plus 460.
Is about 1,060.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's about 1,160. Yeah. So
I reckon I've got just about enough left in my budget for the pedals that I need.
350 quid?
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Okay.
So there's the MXR micro amp. It's basically a one knob kind of crank it up. It really drives the front end of the amp and it gets some nice warmer gritty tones. So that's good.
And I'm going with a Distortion Plus for a similar reason.
The yellow one.
Yeah, which is actually what Mr. Jamie Cook uses. So hopefully that'll get us close.
And then for reverb purposes, he uses the Holy Grail Max, which is right here. However, I don't know if it's above budget. So if it is, then I would go with the smaller £95 Holy Grail. So between my reverb and my micro amp, that's 176 roughly, or 171 to be exact.
Yes.
And that leaves me with just shy of, that's about 100 quid left.
Well, I need, I think, a tremolo and maybe a bit of delay. What we're going to do is kind of get everything and have all the options at our disposal, and then when we kind of running through the tunes in a bit, we'll see kind of what works and what doesn't, and then drop in and out as required.
My sources tell me that this is a sort of TS replica, Ibanez Tube Screamer replica, and it's much more affordable, and so I reckon I'm going to give this a shot, because we don't need it for loads of distortion, just something to push it over the edge. So I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to go with the Way Huge Echo Puss. And with all that added up together, with the Mexican Strat, with the AC15 and those pedals, I'm racking in at £1,506. So I'm £6 over budget, but it does mean that I can get everything that I need. And this is Matthew.
So I have been looking around the shop as well. He uses an EHX Memory Man, but they're like nearly £200, so I'm going to go with Memory Boy. He also uses an EHX Pulsar, which is a tremolo pedal. So they're only 55, so I'm going to get one of those. He uses a little big muff as well, getting one of those, as well as my Distortion Plus.
Should we go sound like Arctic Monkeys?
Let's go and do our best.
Frosty Primates.
Bye.
We're in the room.
We're back in the video room.
We certainly are. And we've managed to collect all the gear to have an attempt to sound like the Arctic Monkeys.
Yep, we have. As we said before, they kind of, as they've been around a while and kind of gone on a sonic exploration journey.
That's a great way to put it, Matthew.
Thank you. Well, so their sound has changed quite a lot throughout that time. So we're trying to kind of encapsulate a bit of everything. So we've kind of chosen a bit of first album, a bit of latest album, and some stuff in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, we've taken 3 excerpts from songs and tried to get them to sound close, and I think we've done a pretty good job.
I think it's getting close. I think the difficulty is it's with this kind of band that have changed their gear and their sound such a lot over quite a short space of time.
Yeah.
That trying to get a rig that's versatile enough to do everything is quite difficult.
Yeah. And with that in mind, what have you got, Matthew?
Well, I am being Jamie Cook from the band Arctic Monkeys. Mm-hmm. I have got myself an Epiphone Dot here, which is reminiscent of his kind of Gibson humbucking semi-hollow. It's most famously uses kind of it's very brown actually his guitar, but yeah, semi-hollow humbuckers.
It's like the lemon drop paint job.
Gibson, yeah. It's a well, this is obviously an Epiphone version, £329. It's Chinese made, and yeah, it sounds alright. Not bad. It's kind of.
I think the difficulty we found with this model is its tuning stability has been a little bit of a nuisance.
It has,
but you can expect that from more affordable guitars from time to time.
Exactly, it is. For a semi-hollow, it's kind of very budget, so yeah. But sound-wise, it's sounding good. No issues there.
Yeah, it's that like harmonic-y, I don't know, that scrappy sound that really works, especially against the Strat. So.
Yeah, and it's good actually, because even though this is, I think he was playing a telly in the early stuff, but it still kind of gets close.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the other two pedals really we brought in for Do I Want to Know, with the Pulsar giving us like a little bit of a wobble.
It's got, you know, like the thing about the noise that pedals make is it's great. No, the thing about that particular tone, when you listen to the record, you've got this clear, very bitey Strat sound, and then underneath is this warmer, but really, it's like rattly, isn't it? It's like raspy kind of.
It's just
underbelly.
Really thick and fudgy.
Yeah,
like they've done a really good job actually of considering the kind of the simplicity and the twangy indie stuff.
Yeah,
I think they've done. I really enjoy their newer stuff, like the last couple of albums, for just being a bit more interesting, a bit more tonally like. You know, the writing's really good and the riffs are really good, and they've got, I think, the combination of these two guitarists with these two sounds, it just sounds awesome, really.
It's great.
Like, they're working together really well, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice sounding rig, Matt. But your rig comes in at, I guess now that we're not using the Memory Boy, like quite under your £1,500 budget.
Yeah, I'm about 1,300-ish.
That's great.
So yeah, nice under budget.
Nice. My rig came in at £1,506, so I'm £6 over budget.
Which is terrible.
It is, £6 none the richer. And so let me start with the guitar. So this is a Mexican, and this is an Arctic White, which I thought was appropriate.
Very.
Arctic White Strat. And it's great. To be honest, it looks just like the guitar that Alex Turner used.
Yeah, the Alex Turner kind of signature look.
Yeah, very much so. Traditional.
Definitely reminiscent of kind of first album when they bounced out of Sheffield and started, you know, with their...
And that's what I went for,
cocky
Matt.
little accents. Yeah, but it's...
appropriate.
It's good.
It's appropriate. That's running into a Vox AC15 with an Alnico Blue driver, and it does the job. The good thing about the 15 as well, you got a bit of reverb, which I'm not using, but I am using the tremolo, which was very useful at the beginning of Do I Want to Know. I'm not using it in the top boost input, it's just straight into the normal input. Signal chain is guitar to the MXR micro amp, which is essentially just pushing the front end a little bit more. And it's really good because you don't notice it that it's really doing a lot until you really crank it up, and then suddenly it's like, whoa. And that's going into the Mooer Green Mile, which is actually really quite good. It's got two very different sounding overdrives. You've got the warm one and then you've got the hot one, and you do notice the difference. I'm using it on the warm setting. The good thing about this pedal as well is that the tone function really affects the signal. So for the beginning again of Do I Want to Know, I cranked the tone right up to get it to sound a bit waspy.
Yeah, that was to be honest, that was the best for two guitars.
Yeah.
It literally gave you a bit more of a spectrum of sound. So
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really good. So that yours was almost
a bit too much.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense sound.
And then out of the Green Mile into the Holy Grail. All these are running in front of the amp because the AC15 doesn't have an effects loop, but also we're not using anything gain heavy that's really going to ruin with a reverb delay. And that's the Holy Grail set to spring. And then finally the Echo Puss by Way Huge, which I'm literally using again for the beginning of Do I Want to Know. So I'll take it up in stages. This is the guitar on its own. I'm going to push in the tremolo so you can hear just how mild it was. It's about here. So that's how much we were using. Now, I'm going to take that back off again, give you the micro amp. It's kind of giving it, isn't it? Yeah. It's brightening it up, which is quite good. And then this is the Green Mile. Anyway, moving on, Holy Grail. And then the Echo Puss.
Nice bit of delay.
So that's literally it. And then when I dial them all in, which I think that's really, really quite good, really quite close. And then
yeah, it's got the sharp and bitey kind of feel that you need.
For the sound Arctic Monkeys have gone for across those records, from my experience at least using rigs, this was very easy to dial in, to be honest. And to be fair, that's probably because they have quite a simple. Alex Turner has quite a simple rig. So that's our rigs on how to sound like the Arctic Monkeys. I think it's been pretty good. Personally.
I think we got fairly close. Obviously, there's way more back catalogue and variants, and I think they've tended to use a lot of gear as they've got more recently. For pretty specific things.
And it is that situation whereby we use what's available to us in the shop as well. So sometimes there are bits of gear that we just can't get that would have seemed like the obvious choice, but we'll always try. And again, these are both giggable rigs.
Totally, and also Bea was racking out some blues on that rig.
Yeah.
So it just shows that it's kind of like very versatile for other stuff as well.
Yeah. If you want to find out anything about any of the gear we've used, all the links will be in the description below. And
as usual, leave your comments in the comment section. We'd love to hear what you thought and if we could do better. And give us some suggestions about what you'd like to hear as well. I've been Matt.
I've been Rabea.
And this has been Sounds Like on Andertons TV.
Goodbye.